Hello everybody, Jake, your resident content cowboy here, Yeehaw, and I actually have some numbers now for all of the changes coming to Pokemon Unite. And while this was happening, I saw that the wonderful Crisheroes was hanging out while I was streaming, so I asked him to join me, and here he is. How you doing, Chris?
Yeah, doing great. Come look over the patch notes.
Good. I'm glad we get a yeehaw from you. That's important. Let's take a look here. We'll start with Goodra, a Pokemon that I think definitely needed some buffs. I think it was a fun Pokemon, but definitely sort of middle of the road here. We see that Dragon Pulse is getting a buff here, so the HP that it gets is increased. It's not only 10% of missing HP, but it has a level slider and a base amount, which is pretty cool, and its Unite charge got lowered. What do you think about some changes to Goodra?
I mean, I think the Unite move is the biggest one, right? Like, it's so game-changing to have more Unite moves up for every single fight, and every time I play Goodra, I only team fight when my Unite move is up, because without it, you don't have a healer in solo queue, right? You just can't team fight. So that for sure is very nice, and I love playing Goodra. But I still would have liked to see that maybe be level 7 Pokemon, I'm gonna be very honest.
That would have been a huge change, and I also would have loved something like that. But, you know, once a Pokemon does get the Unite move charge change, we saw this with Charizard, where you essentially have it every fight. If it's that big for Goodra, that could be a really cool change for sure. Let's take a look at Lapras right here. I actually thought Lapras might get more nerfs than this because it's pretty insane. So Water Pulse goes from 117% of special attack down to 100, and then its level slider is decreased as well as its base damage, and its subsequent hits are also decreased. Across the board, this is a good nerf to a single move, but probably more was needed for Lapras. What do you think?
I would have liked to have seen a passive nerf. I feel like the damage reduction it gets is way too insane, right? And I think Water Pulse, I think it was alright. I think the boost auto attack is like the bigger offender, or not? Like the boost auto attack is ridiculous on Lapras. It heals so much.
Yeah.
The Unite move stuns way too long. Like the Unite move has way too low of a cooldown for how strong it is as well. Like I think Water Pulse is whatever. I think the boost auto attack passive Unite move is insane. And if honestly, I would have liked to see the Perish Song buff as well. I'm very honest. Like there's a small Perish Song buff to make it also a bit stronger. Because actually, as soon as you play Perish Song, you feel like this Pokemon is actually quite useless.
You're not wrong about Perish Song. I honestly think the way they're going about buffing Perish Song is just nerfing Water Pulse, and they might end up doing it again, maybe. Because like you're saying, the rest of its kit is so unbelievably powerful that I still think with a nerfed Water Pulse or the current version of Perish Song, you could still see this Pokemon in so many different situations. Without question, needed a nerf. Could have been to a few things, but and I don't know where you're at with something like this, Chris. I don't love a Pokemon coming out strong and then immediately kind of getting gutted, but this also does feel like maybe not much, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a tiny. I mean we can see what it's going to be, but yeah, this feels a bit on the low end for sure.
Yeah,
especially because Lapras is very strong, right? Like it is such a good Pokemon.
Let's take a look here. Alolan Ninetales. This is something I'm actually super excited for.
Me too.
Dude, a Blizzard buff for Alolan Ninetales? Already Blizzard Avalanche is the build that I have way more success with when I'm playing solo. I feel like the ability to just catch your opponents with that combo, it can, you know, on certain enemies, you can one-shot them with this build. And its Unite charge got lowered, which it, by the way, always needed. It makes no sense that its Unite move charge was so high.
But the best change is 2-second cooldown reduction on it, which now means it aligns perfectly with Avalanche. So both now at the same cooldown. Before, this was always a bit awkward. Blizzard had the higher cooldowns, so you always had to wait for it to be back up, and now you just can do your combo 2 seconds more, or like every 2 seconds more. So it's gonna be amazing. Like I mean, I love playing Blizzard Ninetales since forever almost. So
yeah, this is a really cool change. It's one of those ones where, you know, I saw you in the chat a little earlier saying that this patch is sort of middle of the road for you and you want changes to 15 and 20 Pokemon, and I totally agree with you. These are the kind of changes, by the way, that I'm thinking about when you say that, which is like, why don't we see a change like this to Zeraora? Like a small tweak here or there. Why don't we see a change like this to Crustle? Why don't we see a change like this to fill in the blank Pokemon? We actually have one coming up next here. So I'm really excited about this A9 change. This could be super, super fun, especially with Spoon. It's already like really good with Spoon. spoon.
Oh, yeah.
And the slow change here going from 20% to 35 just means they spend even more time in that sort of area damage. So that's really cool. Let's talk about Cinderace. Cinderace, Feint cooldown, which I got to be honest, I don't love Feint still. I don't really care too much. Pyro Ball, though, this is a huge damage increase.
That is an insane attack rate or attack scaling as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to play attack rates in the Ace. I'm not going to get any stacks, and I'm going to go down a lot, but I'm going to have fun getting 2 or 3 attack rate stacks in. And the base damage as well. Is that like that's 160? More base damage?
Yeah, the base damage is
more per level as well.
820.
It's crazy.
I mean, that is a massive amount of base damage for one move. And something to think about with Pyro Ball is that it goes through and you can literally hit an entire team with one move right there. Depending on how they're grouped up, you can secure objectives. You can hit a whole team with it. That is a massive amount of damage. I see Gotlu in the chat too saying Feint is such a good ability, Spragels, especially versus speedsters. Feels so great. I personally feel like it's really hard to take a Pokemon that has the ability to reposition itself and take that away. But you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, with a buff to this move, maybe it's the time. Don't we have Pyro Ball already? Correct me if I'm wrong. It lowers the cooldown of either Flame Charge or Feint, right? Feint?
Yeah, on 11 plus.
On the plus. Okay, cool.
Yeah, on the plus.
So I knew there was some sort of combination there. Let me see how much it lowers it. It lowers it by 3.5 seconds. This move is already coming in at 9. I don't know. That still feels high. I gotta be honest.
It's time for some cooldown reduction Cinderace, and then we get some hate for Black Emblems.
Yeah, it's time for Crisheroes to get more hate for another cooldown reduction video.
Let's go.
I'm on board with you, by the way, Chris. I love cooldown reduction on tons of different Pokemon. We might disagree on Venusaur, but we'll never disagree on this. Let's see.
That's fun.
Espeon, psyshock. It got a damage nerf, and that's it. I still think, even with lower damage, this is going to be incredibly strong.
I would have just liked to see a nerf to just less to white Pokemon. Like, just reduce the damage to white Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I think it would have been nice. But I think Espeon is difficult to change or nerf. It's just like the last hitting is just way too insane from level 4 on, right? I mean, if I was a game developer, I would make every single evolution level 5 Pokemon, level 5, 7, 9, all evolutions, because I feel like it's complete nonsense. They're so strong so early on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's difficult.
I'm actually
this Pokemon the right way.
I'm actually surprised we're even seeing any of the EVs get nerfed, considering we're coming up to the EV event and they're going to be selling Hollowware and all this stuff for all of them. But I kind of get it with Espeon. It is way overpowered. I also thought maybe we'd see something to the amount of stun or the amount of slow or whatever after it, but apparently we're just doing damage here. Let's move on over to Glaceon.
Wait, yeah, it's really nonsense that Espeon stuns and then slows as well. After you stun is you still slowed. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Let's talk about this. What is happening with Glaceon? What is this?
I don't want to talk about this.
This is insane, dude. This is like...
You could tell me what this is about. I thought you could tell me. I don't know.
I mean, this Pokemon's already doing really well. This build is good. This build is seriously good. And now Ice Shard gives you way more movement speed for longer. Why? Icicle Spear is now... The cooldown I'm just like whatever about. I don't even know. I don't even understand it. I never had an issue with the cooldown of Icicle Spear. And now we're increasing Icicle Spear's damage. Like, what? Why?
Yeah. I really just don't know. I honestly don't know. But like, when I recorded my video for the balance patch, and I didn't read anything before, I just went instantly in. And I went to Glaceon, and I actually just felt lost. I felt so confused. I was like, wait, are they buffing it? I had to read multiple times to make sure I didn't misread.
Yeah.
They're buffing it.
They're buffing it.
It's complete nonsense. Every time I play against it, okay, like I said, it doesn't have the highest win rate. Like, its win rate is not high of Icicle Spear. Mm-hmm. It is not. It is reasonable. But every time I play against it, it just feels so unfair. Like, you just get clicked on, and you just take so much damage for absolutely no reason. It's very easy to play as well.
Mm-hmm.
So... this buff is very questionable.
It's a very weird one. Let's talk about Scizor here. Scizor, auto attack. When a boosted attack hits, Scizor's defense now increases by 40%, and it gets a second off of its bullet punch. Let's be fair. This might not even be broken because Scizor right now is not good. So
Yeah, he's terrible.
I don't mind this at all. It's one of the worst Pokemon in the game by far. This could be a great buff for it, which I think is, I mean, well past due. This Pokemon is just tragic, especially into the meta. You don't want to play this into Zacian, Comfey, or anything like that. It's just, it's miserable to play this thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. But the question is like, it's only defense that, right? It's not special defense. So there's no special attackers in the game. But I mean, the cooldown on Bullet Punch is nice, but I think it needs a bit just more damage. Or just like revert the nerf on Sword Dance. Like the Sword Dance nerf made no sense, right? They nerfed Scyther because Scyther was overpowered.
Yeah.
At the same time, they nerfed Scizor, and they should revert that like those nerfs. They should have been just reverted.
I think something like that makes a lot of sense. It's cool to have a targeted buff to Scizor, who definitely needs it. This could be really good, especially if you're brawling against physical Pokemon, but the meta is so special attacker heavy, and they're not really doing that much. They're buffing Glaceon, so I don't know. I think it's still going to struggle. We'll have to see. Let's take a look at Comfey right here. These are a lot of numbers to look at, and
oh my god,
I'm not really sure. Like, it's just going to have to... This is one of those things where you get it inside of a game, and then you can actually realize whether this is enough or not. The thing I'm most excited about this entire change with Comfey is Magical Leaf Stun getting reduced. That's the thing I'm most excited about, because that move is insane.
I mean, should even stun to begin with, the question, I guess. Maybe just slow.
Maybe
like
slow.
Stun, but
maybe even a
slow
slight...
up over time, but yeah, I don't know. It's difficult.
Yeah. There are a lot of numbers here. And I honestly have no idea how... We could pull this up. Someone could find it. But I wonder how this actually compares to Release Comfey. Because Release Comfey had... buffs across the board to all of its moves, essentially. I think, in general, just seeing all of these changes to this Pokemon is the thing I'm most excited about, even though I don't love being excited about a nerf necessarily. It's the thing I'm most excited about in this patch, because as a player who primarily plays solo, maybe duo, trio, I feel like this Pokemon is just the most overpowered thing of all time.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. It really, it's just the bad design Pokemon. It's just straight up. It's going to be impossible to balance. Again, I compared to League of Legends, has the same character, right? They weren't able to balance it for 4 years. Either it completely is overpowered and has to be picked in every game, or it's the worst Pokemon in the, or the worst character in the entire game. It is impossible to make something like this work because it doesn't have big counterplay. Like, if you play against Blissey, Eldegoss, or Clefairy, you can actually go for them and knock them out, right? But this you can't. If it's stuck on a Lapras, you have no chance of ever getting the healer.
Yep.
And it's a big part to like shut down the healer, because the healers are so important in team fights, right? And this Pokemon you just can't. You can't shut it down ever. So I wish there was like some... I wish they would just make it more countable, have like some mechanic it can only stay on the same Pokemon for a while, then has to go on a different Pokemon or something. It needs more punishment for staying on the same Pokemon without doing anything. Like, just straight up, right?
I totally agree. I know a lot of people have sort of pitched that idea, the idea of at some point you have to detach no matter what. Like, you've got 15 seconds on a Pokemon. That's even insanely long. But you're on a Pokemon for so long, and at some point it makes you peel off. It puts your reattach on a cooldown or something. I think that would be really nice. In general, if I look over this patch, I think in general I'm excited for the Goodra buffs. Lapras, I don't think it's going to change too much. Ninetales, Cinderace, looking good. Espeon, I don't think much changes here. Glaceon, I'm honestly scratching my head. Scizor, maybe you even need more buffs. And then Comfey, I'm very happy about. What do you think, Chris, overall?
Zacian?
Yeah, the Zacian nerfs were underwhelming. Let me look at them again.
They're quite hard to see.
Yeah, they're a little tough to see. The only Zacian nerf I see is this right here, Comfey. That's the only thing I see as a Zacian nerf. But I think a lot of people are probably going to be disappointed by no Zacian nerfs. And I think someone like you or I, Chris, are probably most disappointed that there aren't double the amount of Pokemon getting changes inside this patch.
Yeah. I just want more balance changes across the board. Just like small things to love things here and there, maybe to even hate items, to battle items, right? Just buff things so the game feels fresh again. Because really right now it doesn't feel. It feels so the same thing over and over again. And that's like the biggest issue of a MOBA, right? It has to be refreshing. You have to have like a different game experience month to month. Otherwise, like, it just feels too repetitive. And Unite's map is too small for these kind of things. Like, we need more changes to the actual Pokemon. Because our map is really like we got a new map, right? Theia Sky Runes, but it still feels too often the same, at least to me. I don't know.
No, I totally agree
I play
with
the game
you.
Too much, so I play the game too much. I have to say as well. Maybe it's not aimed at me, right? Like
It's probably
I can always
not.
say this, but it's just probably not aimed towards me. So like, it's always this. I can't be too mad because I'm not the target audience. But yeah, I just wish there was more.
I totally agree. I want more frequent balance change. If patches were this size, I would want a balance patch every few weeks, basically. Just
Every 2 or 3
constantly
weeks, yeah.
going through the Pokemon, you know, changing things here or there. If the balance patches are every month or so, I'm fully with you. I think we should probably double the amount of Pokemon that get changed inside here. There are some changes I'm excited about, some changes that I think are probably not enough, but I want to thank you, Chris, for hanging out and just going through the numbers with me, dude.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, maybe hopefully next time for a few more numbers.
Yeah. Did you want to take a second to cry about Solar Beam Venusaur, or are you good?
I want to cry about the patch notes, but you know, I always cry about everything, so it's
Okay.
just normal at this point.
Perfect. All right. Love you, Chris. Love you, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for
Bye,
listening.
guys.
Goodbye.